Man, does Yusuke has some crazy punching power. I mean, every punch this man throws, it seems like he's dang near about to break something. My guy has some serious punching power, right? But what exactly is his secret? What's up, BP Squad, and welcome back to another anime training breakdown video. Boy, that's a mouthful. But guys, today we're going to break down and discuss the secret or secrets to Yusuke Urameshi's crazy punching power. Now, we all know that guy, or maybe you are that guy that has natural punching power. Go ahead and put a fist emoji in the comments if you're one of those guys that has pretty good punching power. But from watching Yusuke punch, you can pretty much tell my guy has hands of stone and just knows how to generate power through proper body coordination. I mean, look at this. You see how he has his feet planted to the ground? And then he just turns his body as you would a punch and releases the shotgun blast. Now, even though it's the energy attack, Yusuke still has pretty good punching mechanics. This is seen throughout the entire anime. Even the scene when we are first introduced to Kuwabara. See how he suddenly disappears and throws this nice punch? You can tell he put his whole body behind it and really tried to punch through Kuwabara. But there's even instances when Yusuke seemingly doesn't put his body behind those punches. He just throws them. Now, I believe he has natural and incredible power. But I also believe he has hard and heavy hands. Some people just know how to throw a punch. They just hit hard for whatever reason. I call those the heavy-handed people. They just hit hard without actually looking like they do hit hard. George Foreman is a perfect example. He doesn't turn his body violently, but he still punches crazy hard. And then the special case people, where they have good puncher coordination and fluidity, but they really don't have power like that. That does happen with a lot of people. And remember this, just because you look strong and powerful doesn't actually mean you are powerful. Looks can be deceiving. I've seen small or real skinny guys pack a punch. So with that being said, how does punching power actually work? Specifically for Yusuke Urameshi. Now, if you guys watched my How to Punch Harder video, then you know we broke down the principles and physics of power and how it works. Remember, power equals force times velocity. So if that defines power, how do we better understand, let's just say, the expressions of power? That being the people who have natural heavy hands without having much torque, and the people who have really good punching coordination with or without power. Now, I personally believe Yusuke Urameshi has both. He has both heavy hands and good punching coordination, which makes him unique. But let's talk about his natural punching power and what grants him this. When you look at Yusuke Urameshi, he's not really a big guy. In fact, I would say he's average, arguably small, you could say. Again, just because you're a small guy doesn't mean you're not gonna have any power. Yusuke isn't a big guy and still packs a major punch. When you take a look at his body of work, his intense training with Genkai, and even battles with incredibly strong villains such as Toguro and Sensui, he's been through a lot in his life, and yet these events still don't add up to him having a special punching power. Then what is his secret? Or again, secrets. We talked about how power works, how some people have natural heavy hands and really good punching coordination. And of course, those people who look pretty strong and have good punching mechanics, but yet they still don't have power. Why is that? Even after Yusuke's crazy and eventful life, he has always shown his phenomenal punching power. From the moment we see him utterly destroy Kuwabara to the point he fought Sensui. I mean, even Sensui said it himself. Yusuke is more naturally talented than him. Bingo! There we go. Even though that could be a blanket compliment, Yusuke does indeed have more raw talent than Sensui. He has amazing fighting instincts and solid physical attributes, such as speed, strength, and power. So taking all of this into consideration and how some people, no matter the size, are just able to punch that much harder. It's safe to say, guys, the ability to punch hard is honestly more genetic than having to train for it. How does that work exactly? And what does it mean if I don't have natural punching power? Well, guys, there are ways to improve it, and I'll explain that shortly. However, let's first break down the meaning of having natural power and how it works. So again, some people have natural power. No matter what, their size, build, or strength, they have power. Some people are just able to produce large portions of their strength and force quickly. That is genetics. When we break down the anatomy of the human body and we see the parts or systems that enable the ability to move, the system or systems that facilitate movement are going to be your nervous, skeletal, and muscular system. Your nervous system, specifically the central nervous system, which is like the computer chip that processes info. It receives sensory input based on a particular stimulus. Say for instance, you're trying to lift something, but your body doesn't know how much force or strength you need to generate because the stimuli is new to you. When you lift something new for the first time, your CNS now registers this input, and based on this new information, it knows how strong of a signal it needs to send to your bones, connective tissues, and muscles to be able to lift that weight up again. You ever lift a gallon of water up so fast and you realize that it was empty? Well, that's your stored sensory information. You know without reading how much a gallon of water weighs, the needed force or strength to be able to lift that up. That's the central nervous system. Now, let's take a look at the other two systems. That's gonna be your muscular and skeletal. The skeletal and muscular systems both work in conjunction with one another. When the CNS sends that signal, both the skeletal and muscular systems receive this signal and carry out the motor function. So if I'm doing dumbbell curls, this is a simple motion. You see my arm curling, specifically my biceps carrying a load to be able to lift that weight to my shoulder. But also, the joint that helps significantly is the elbow. You have tendons and ligaments that are bearing the load as well. Tendons are connective tissues that attach muscle to bones, and ligaments are connective tissues that connect bone to bone. They are crucial in movement. Your forearms are also helping along with other accessory muscles and joints. But the CNS sends that signal to the biceps, elbow joint, and other accessory helpers and lets them know how much strength or force is needed. And if the body is properly trained, the corresponding groups will be able to curl that weight. That's how those systems work together to carry out motor function. So tying this back together, and now that we understand how movement works for the most part, why is it that punching power is largely genetic? It has a lot to do with these two factors. Your fast twitch muscle fibers, which are white muscle fibers because they don't have an extensive blood supply. They're able to produce a large force at a fast rate. So sprinters would be a good example of having a lot of white muscle fibers. Also, your connective tissue such as your tendons and your ligaments, specifically your tendons since they transmit power from your muscles to your bones, and the ligaments maintain stability of that bone-to-bone joint. So these things are essential contributors to someone having punching power. So when we see Yusuke able to deliver a monstrous punch, just know he has a good amount of white muscle fibers and tendons that are relatively long. That's why he's able to generate so much power at a fast rate and deliver a hard punch. Yusuke's punching ability is mostly genetic. Those long tendons are like rubber bands that have a lot of stored energy, and when ready to unleash, they come with the punch.
Make this quick.
The energy is traveling a longer distance, so they're gonna pack more. So we know Yusuke Urameshi's punching power is mostly genetic. There is still one more factor that plays a role into his punching power. That is his training. Yusuke went through crazy gruesome training in the series, which in return made him stronger, faster, and more powerful. My guy was seen doing cliff jumps on the mountains with Genkai, and that helps significantly with developing power within your legs. Your legs play the most important role in punching power. Everything starts from the ground up. But Yusuke went through multiple training methods and sessions to reach where he is today. So this ties back to the statement I made earlier about punching power being largely genetic. You can improve your punching power by specialized training. So while Yusuke was doing cliff jumps, you can do box jumps. This will help you learn to generate more power over time. Make this more difficult and rewarding by doing kneeling jumps onto a box or simply doing kneeling jumps into a tuck jump. Those work perfectly to develop overall power and coordination. You can also do sprints to help you really develop your power and speed. Remember, to a degree, speed is power. When it comes to focusing solely on punching power, I do suggest these exercises, but I highly recommend for you guys to do specific punching drills to improve your punching power. So like medicine ball slams to help with rotation and power output. You can do straight arm throws with a medicine ball to increase your right or left hand punching power. Do these for hooks as well. Take the medicine ball and rotate violently as you get ready to toss the ball. Spice it up by taking your feet out of the equation and relying more on your torso rotation. These are kneeling medicine ball throws. Do medicine ball and kneeling jumps to tuck jumps for added weight onto your body. This added weight is like the example I told you guys earlier. Remember, your CNS is already used to that certain stimulus, so it knows how strong of a signal it needs to send to be able to move that object. But if you add the medicine ball, it now needs to register that new information. So that new input will change the sensory output, which will help you develop more strength and power over time. So these are just a few exercises that I recommend to you guys to improve your punching power like Yusuke Urameshi. If you want more exercises or routine to improve your punching power, let me know in the comments. But guys, that's pretty much the secret to Yusuke Urameshi's amazing punching power. Remember, if you don't have good punching power, simply start training to improve it. But that's all I have for you guys. If you enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Most importantly, do not forget to make sure you are properly subscribed. I'll see you guys next Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Go beyond. Peace and love. And nah shade. Boom. We out, baby.